first I was going to give 2 acres, but my land was low, and it would need to be built up a lot, and it was going to cost a lot of money. And it wasn't enough land, really. So Brother Wiles said, why don't we purchase some land? So we did from Mr. Otto. And then we bought this building that Ray had talked about. It was a Chamber of Commerce building from Missouri City, I believe.
This old building that up in Sugarland area, and it had once been a bank, and I heard it had been a Chamber of Commerce building, and we went and looked at it, and it wasn't in real good shape. It had big plate glass windows in it and everything, and so we made a deal, and Brother Surface over, I think he's over in the Fuquay area, he had donated some money or loaned us some money to have the building moved, which is around $6 grand if I'm thinking right. And anyway, we got the building moved down here. They had to move it. They come down the old 90. They wouldn't. I guess they wouldn't bring it down the freeway. But anyway, when it come across that old bridge, it was scraping the sides of the concrete when it came through. And we brought it right down through the main street of Needville. And I guess probably should have had Sister Wiles sitting up on top of it in a rocking chair, because they probably thought the Clampets was coming to town, because that's what the building looked like. Anyway, we had a lot of work to do. A person really don't realize what work goes into an old building. There's a lot of things you got to do, and we were just outside the city limits, and of course we had to put in a septic because the septic didn't run out here. And we had to dig a huge tank in the back, fill it with gravel, put all the pipes in and all that stuff. And a lot of people, they go over there, they don't see that, they don't see that part of it. But we got all that did, got that taken care of. Then we had the front concrete driveway and all that stuff to fix. We had to put down grass. There wasn't nothing did. We had to do it all. And of course, there's another thing too, that there was no money, so we had to poor boy it. We had to, all the labor was furnished and everything. So that's part of getting the church started. You got to start from scratch.
It's a lot of things that you learn over a period of time when you work for the Lord, and these were valuable lessons that we learned. And have patience, have understanding, and put God first. That's what we wanted to do. And God blessed in this community, and God helped in this community.
There would be many hurdles and obstacles to overcome in renovating the old Chamber of Commerce building that took nearly 5 years to complete. But despite the fact that the church was a work in progress, Pastor Wiles decided that it was time to move into the church, and the members held their first service on April 25th, 1985.
We got the building set up and got it put together, and it like a long ways being finished. We put some attic fans, ceiling fans in, and because we didn't have any air. Matter of fact, we didn't have any windows in the thing. It just was in the process of getting all that done. But we decided to go ahead and have our first service, and everybody was just thrilled to death. There's a closeness you have when you first build a church. Even like when we met in our homes, there was a closeness there that sometimes you don't get later on. There was just a lot of love and joy. Everybody was happy, and we just thrilled. We'd get together. You could tell everybody it was joy there.
But I know we didn't have a lot of things hooked up. We didn't have water hooked up, and a lot of things we didn't. And we hauled water, and we put it in drums and haul it in my truck, and we put it for the toilets. I know that's what we had to do for the toilets, and we had to pour water inside of them. Didn't have water running in there, and we didn't have no windows in it, and the trusses weren't up yet, and we held our first service in there. But it's like I said, we had no plumbing, no electricity, no water, no nothing, but we got it done, and we had services, and that's what Brother Wiles wanted to do. He wanted to have a service, and it was a blessing. I remember, I think it was 35, 40 people there, and it was a lot of people from the community that came, and some people that we had talked to. We went around the community and talked to a lot of people, and Brother Wiles was real enthusiastic about that, and he was a hard worker in that respect.
In 1993, Pastor Wiles passed away, leaving his wife Doris and a legacy at Needville Community Church behind. In 1995, the church decided to commemorate Pastor Wiles and Doris for their hard work with the church.
I think it was in approximately 1995 that we did the cornerstone, that the plaque that we had made locally. In fact, a guy here in Needville had prepared it, and we call it our cornerstone, kind of commemorating and honoring Pastor and Sister Wiles for the start of the church. And it has the date, I think April 25th, 1985. And there was a special service that day. Pastor Rule had a service planned, and I know a lot of family members came and others that had attended church here to give that recognition and honor to Sister Wiles. And she was so pleased. Pastor Wiles had passed away probably a year or so earlier, a year and a half maybe earlier. And I recall all of us out there on the driveway, and the stone being placed up, and the kind words that Pastor Rule had to say, and just commemorating this special day. And a lot of our grandchildren were there that had grown up in the area, and friends, and she was just thrilled as she could be. I remember somebody was even holding an umbrella for her, because she was a lady's lady. And the sun was hot that day, and so they had an umbrella over holding the umbrella over her to kind of protect her from the hot sun. And but it was a special day, and she was so pleased, and I'm sure Pastor Wiles was just looking down from heaven, smiling and thinking, well, I'd done it a little bit differently probably, but it was a great day, and to honor such a fine family and a fine couple.
The coming years brought more growth and construction for Needville Community Church. Pastor Rule led Needville Community Church into the new century with a vision full of growth and love.
I recall when, after Pastor Stan and Judy Rule came, and it was after Pastor Wiles had passed away, I think in '93, and they came in '94, wasn't it?
That's February.
And, beautiful music ministry, and our church began to grow, reaching out. They had children of their own, teenagers, and our youth group began to grow again, because as you know, in churches, people grow up and move off, and we had begun to grow. And I remember at one of our business meetings, I was taking notes, and Pastor Rule had the scripture, and I'm not sure now where it was from in the Bible, but it was, when the people have no vision, where there is no vision, the people perish. Mm-hmm. And I thought, yeah, that's true. You know, I'm content in this little building, but we've got to grow. And even from day one, that was Pastor Wiles' vision, to grow and to be a light into this community. And so new plans were drawn up. I recall they started getting the bids, and I know all the men will know about all the construction. But we went from that small building into the new sanctuary.
So I know that it was voted on in a board meeting, and everybody said yes, and that we had a little meeting when the land was here. We circled it and everything and had prayer over it. And I know my mom was still alive at that time, and they took pictures of her with a shovel in her hand, you know, breaking ground for the church. And then that's how we got started on doing the bigger building.
The new sanctuary was completed in 2002. In 2005, Needville Community Church welcomed a new pastor, Pastor Monty Kelly, and his wife Terry. Pastor Monty shares the same vision that the church was founded on: growth, family, love, and prayer. Today we just celebrate 25 years, but the celebration doesn't stop here. The celebration will continue as God, Pastor Monty, and the families of Needville Community Church lead the way into the future.